Hello and greetings to you, brethren. Today we're talking to Redemption House International Ministry, to the Men of Influence. Yes, that's a very powerful title there. And it is very fitting, especially for a group that is under the government of God, under the rulership and the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Okay, so let me first begin by introducing myself. My name is Kenneth Peary. I'm the founder and also the CEO of Peary Consulting. Now, our motto is to build a scalable, profitable, as well as fundable businesses. All right. Now, I'm coming to you today to speak to you about entrepreneurship in general. I've just been given a blank canvas, so to say, and as it is, I'm hoping that this message, when you receive it, you will find something that you can grab onto, something that you can use if you're already an entrepreneur or you're planning to embark on that entrepreneurial journey. There's going to be something for you in this message. And also, I'm hoping that it will answer some of your questions and that it will also open up your eyes to certain opportunities or to certain ways of doing things that maybe you didn't consider, maybe that you have overlooked, and maybe you tried entrepreneurship and things didn't go so well. Okay, now let's jump in. I always want to begin by trying to define what entrepreneurship is. But before I do that, the issue is why entrepreneurship? Why does one need to become an entrepreneur? You have seen the stats do not lie, the numbers do not lie. The majority of people that are successful in business are usually hidden. People that are not God fearing, people that do not even know God, people that don't even go to church, people who are not like you. Yet, in one way or the other, they seem to be succeeding very much in business, some to the point where they become billionaires. And then the question you probably are asking yourself, why? Why don't you see Christian men who fear God out there performing and competing successfully in entrepreneurship? The answer is also there in scripture. If you go to Hosea 4:6, the Bible is clear that my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. All right, so that destroyed because of lack of knowledge, it means that in anything that you embark on, if you do not have knowledge on how to run that thing and be successful in it, then you're going to be demolished by your competition. It's as simple as that. So my people are suffering because they do not have knowledge. Most people with great ideas venture into entrepreneurship. They just run before they have the right kind of background that they need as a foundation to build their businesses on. Hence, our motto is to help entrepreneurs like you build scalable, profitable, and sustainable businesses. Now, when we say build scalable, what do we mean? We mean that whatever enterprise that you embark on, whatever idea that you're turning into a business, must have the capacity or ability to grow. Okay, so initially when you start a business, no matter how small the idea might be, you probably are just looking for additional income. Some of you will want to call it a side hustle. But this is one definition that I want you to scrape out of your mind right now. You're not hustling, you're not a hustler. You are a child of God and you are an entrepreneur. So no side hustles here. We're talking entrepreneurship. That thing that you were calling a side hustle, whatever it is for extra income, begin to see it as a seed for a business that you are venturing into. It's not a hustle. It's not by the side. It is just in it incubation period that it may grow and become something that you can scale, something that you can make profit out of, and something that even in the future it can be fundable by getting funding from investors and so forth and so forth. Again, if you're still on the sidelines and you're asking yourself, is entrepreneurship for you? Then the answer to that is found also in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, these are the words, the first words that God spoke to Adam. Now, if ever man is to come into the earth, there is always a word that is pronounced upon him, whether you know it or you don't know it, that is true. Okay, but now because Adam is the father of all, right? Because we can trace you and everyone else back to Adam. It means that whatever God pronounced on him, you as a child of God becomes the inheritor of that particular blessing. So the first thing that God said, but God blessed him and said, all right? He blessed them and said. So that's the first thing that he did, was to give blessing unto man. He said, be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth, dominate. Okay? Now, all these are business principles. These are the same business principles that the hidden out there are using. These are the same business principles that if you are not careful of or you do not practice, will make you run into losses. But if we're to adopt them, then it means that you are being fruitful, which means you are a producer, not a consumer. Most of us have been reduced to consumers only, which means you go to a job, you get a money, whatever money you get is for food and drink only, maybe nice clothes and stuff like that. Things that do not generate income. That is consumption. Consumption are not only restricted to people eating, but also covers to whatever income that comes in, going into a just expenditure that does not generate income. So, which means you are a consumer if you're doing that. And then again, I mentioned there you waking up, going to a job. There's nothing wrong with going to a job as long as it's not a permanent position. By that, I mean that you must always have in your mind that a idea to transition at a particular point, because the blessing, like I said, is said, be fruitful, multiply. Now, you can only multiply in a job as much as the promotion that is made available to you, or you can move from this job to that looking for promotion. But in the sense of business, multiplication now looks at scaling up, growing the business, growing your profit margins, growing your business to just you, maybe, and your wife and your children, to become an employer that employs 5 people, 10 people, after a couple of years, 20, 100 people. That is how all those huge corporates that you're seeing today started. They started with an idea. Someone was bold enough to take that idea to market, or to take that product or service to market, and then build it into something that can continuously grow and scale. That is what we call scaling up the business. Okay. But of significance, there is profit. All right. Now that we have come to profit, this is when I'm going to introduce to you the definition of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is an individual or group of individuals that have an idea to serve a particular need in order to get profit. Okay, so which means as an entrepreneur, you are a problem solver. If there is a need out there, look for the need that you can satisfy with your idea and then make it profitable. Now you have become an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter what that need is. If you can be able to monetize that particular need, therefore it means that you are an entrepreneur. Now, a lot of you are already entrepreneurs without really knowing it. You already have got these ideas. Some of you have been doing some of the things that we're going to be talking about here. Because of that, you are an entrepreneur, only that you have not yet identified yourself as one. So I'm hoping that this video will help you then to maybe transition in your mind. Once you have done that, then you can take next steps. Okay, so now, having said that, where do we start? Where do you start? Where does entrepreneurship start? Now, entrepreneurship starts with a vision. I'll repeat that. Entrepreneurship starts with a vision. And again, this is biblical. I'm telling you, everything that you need in entrepreneurship is there in the Bible. If you go to Habakkuk 2:2, it says that write the vision down right? Right, not necessarily it means right means right. There is no spiritual accord in there, and what it means right. Right. Take your pen, write the vision down, and make it plain so that whoever reads it can run with it. Okay. Again, it says that, and the vision is for an appointed time, which means if we are defining what a vision is, a vision in business terms, a vision is a futuristic plan. All right. This is where you want to be in future. This is where you want that business to be. This is what you want to create as a business. This is how you want to be seen as a business. So the main components or the main factors that makes a powerful vision is that one, a vision must be clear. It must communicate without a doubt what that business is all about. Number two, a vision must be compelling. What I mean by compelling is exactly what Habakkuk spoke about, that so that whoever reads it can run with it. All right. Imagine you having a vision for your business, and then there are some times when you are unable to be there personally. Maybe you've taken your family on a holiday to in Malaysia to and so forth and so forth. Or maybe you've gone somewhere else to attend other family issues. All right. What happens to the business then? Does it close because you're not there? No. The ability of the business to continue running in the absence of the CEO or of the founder or manager is the fact that there is a vision that is compelling, meaning that whoever reads that vision understands without a doubt, and they buy into that vision. What I mean by buy into the vision is that the vision has got this capacity of being infectious, right? Once you read it, once you know it, you can easily align with that particular vision and run with it. Okay, so I said it must be clear, it must be compelling, it must be short. It must be short and very simple. The reason there is that there mustn't be any ambiguity in what you're saying. There mustn't be any confusion in what you're trying to communicate. It must be very clear. This is the message that you are putting out there. And because of this, then whoever reads it understands without a doubt that this is the message, and therefore can perform or align themselves according to that particular vision. Okay, now that you've got a vision, stop, wait, don't run and open up a shop tomorrow. Wait. Now that you have a vision, there's still a lot of things that you need to do. What you need to do, this is a prerequisite, and this prerequisite means that a lot of businesses that are failing out there, they skipped this very important step. You've got an idea for a product, for a service, whatever it is. The most important thing first to do is to conduct research. By this, I mean market research. You're looking for who are your competitors, who are your suppliers, for example. Where can I sell this? All the things that relate to that product and to that business, everything must be totally researched, find out exactly in detail. Let this process run for as long as it can, but obviously not forever. Okay. Let this process run for as long as it can in order for you to gather sufficient information that is supported by irrefutable evidence out there that you can use. Now, back in the day, what we used to do is that you would go to maybe a library and then look for books or this and that, or download investigations or research studies that have been done by others. There are a lot of them on platforms such as Academia, on platforms such as Google Scholar, and so forth. Don't do that. Okay, because it means that once you've downloaded them, you will have a lot of volumes of stuff to read through. But fortunately for us, we have been gifted by being in what we call the age of AI. I know once I say AI, some of you out there are saying, oh, here we go again. Yes, indeed, here we go again. If you have not yet mastered AI or you're not using it in one way or another, then it is time you do so. It is time you do so. Now, let me tell you why. AI does not really make you lazy. It is a tool that you can use to buy back your time. All right. Now, like I say, back in the day, we will take a lot of research studies, volumes and volumes, hundreds of pages, sit down and start reading word for word. Remember, what you want could be maybe just a paragraph in that particular research, and then another research, and then gather and then compose this. Now, with AI, what you guys can do now, you can choose whichever AI you use, plug in all the tools or all the research that you have collected about certain markets, and then ask specific questions to generate information that you need. I'm not saying that you let it make decisions for you. No, you use it as a tool, just like money is a tool. It's not meant to control you, is a tool. You use it, it doesn't use you. All right. You can use AI also as a tool in order to generate sufficient research that can help you in making the right decisions. So, and therefore, the issue of making decisions is a very huge issue, but not just decisions, but the correct decisions. Because now you are having this intelligence that is going to search for specific things, look for competitors, and look for a certain figures, the right kind of figure, so that when you get to the next step and the next steps that you're going to talk about, then you are armed with the right kind of information and knowledge, yet you got that in as very little time as possible. But now, again, I want to caution the use of AI has to be done in a way where you actually know what you're doing. You need to ask very, very specific questions. Don't put general questions like, how do I start a business? No, you need to give context, give details. For example, I'm a young man of 50, and I'm based in South Africa. I want to start a clothing business. Please find out for me which businesses, small businesses, are right there at the top in terms of competition. What is it that they're doing best? Where do they source their materials? Who is their customers? What is their pricing? Now you are getting sufficient data that you need in order to make decisions. Then you can use this and then create something that is your very own. Now, the key again, before I go in depth here, the key is that do not, I repeat, do not start something new. Usually, entrepreneurship is a path that others have already gone through. There are others before you that have made mistakes for you. You look at what is working and then you change it into something that will work for you. You are not copy. You are not copy. You are looking at what works in the market, and then you are tailor making it to suit your specific conditions and your specific businesses. If you try to walk the untrodden path, that path where no one has walked, you do not have data, you do not have information to support the decisions that you are going to make there. Now, because of that, many will fail. But it's not all doom and gloom. Sometimes you can have a very clear vision, especially if it is a God-given vision. God is telling you to walk in that path. Even if no one else has gone there, obviously you're going to succeed because what God says never fails. Okay, so now you've done your research. What is the next thing? Out of that research, you must be able to position your business. By this, I mean that you must now come up with what is called a unique value proposition. All right? Unique value proposition. Okay, so you had a vision, and then now you've got a unique value proposition. Now, the unique value proposition is the differentiator. What makes you different? What makes your business different? What makes your business stand out? Let me give you an example. Okay, if we look at the vision for Nike, Nike for sportswear, their vision is to become the world's leading sports and fitness company in the world. That is their vision. But if you look at their value proposition, their value proposition is we match athletes with the right equipment. All right. Now you see, other businesses like Adidas and what, they're just selling sports items. But now Nike is the specific niche, the specific target audience, target group who they want to target with their product, which is athletes. Now, if they differentiate themselves as targeting athletes, it's obvious still that even those people that are not athletes will buy, because now the athletes are trendsetters. The athletes are influencers. The athletes are known for their flamboyant lifestyle and so forth. Already, so you've got people who become product ambassadors, who will market the product and then will cause everyone else to buy into the product. For example, I know a lot of you watch soccer. If you watch soccer, you've got a specific player that you like. Maybe it's Kylian Mbappe, right? If you see him branded in Nike and so forth, now you want to align with that. Okay, of course, there's nothing wrong with it, but you see, they are tapping into certain resources to make sure that that business can sell what it needs to say. Now, this is what we call the unique value proposition. There is something unique that they're bringing to the market, although it's sports equipment, but the way they do it is different from the rest. Okay, now you've got a vision, you've done your research, you've got your unique value proposition. Now we go into creating a strategy for a business. All right. Now, you have not yet run the business. You are creating a strategy for the business. Now, in most cases, for people that are going into entrepreneurship where you don't have money, you need funding, usually this strategy is housed in what we call the business plan. All right. Now, I will send you guys a link to this book that I wrote here, how to create a business plan. Okay. It's for free. You can download it for free. I hope that the book will bless you. The book will give you insight into other things. It's for free. I will send the link to you guys. It's for free. Please just download the book for free. Go at it, look, come up with questions and so forth and so forth. There are so many things that are hidden there, some hidden gems that will open your mind to entrepreneurship. Okay, now we are where you are beginning your strategy. The strategy begins with a long-term and short-term goals. Now, long-term means that they are for more than a year. Any plan that you have, which is more than a year, goes into what you call a long-term plan. And then anything that is less than a year is long-term goals, or I mean short-term goals for less than a year. So now, these goals have got certain principles that they must follow. The goals must be smart, all right? What I mean by smart is that goals must be specific, must be measurable, must be attainable, must be realistic, and must have a time frame. Let me give you an example. For example, let's say our long-term goal is to achieve a 20% profit growth by 2027. All right. Achieve 20% profit growth by 2027. Now, see, it is specific. We've stated exactly it is profit growth that we want. That is specific. Number two, it is measurable, 20%. So it must be quantifiable. A goal that is not quantifiable is not easy to measure. A goal must be measurable. And then it is attainable. Now, is it attainable? That will depend on the resources that you have. If you've got the resources to push such a goal, then it must be something that you can do with the resources that you have. Is it realistic? Can it be done? Is it possible in such an economic environment, or it is impossible? Now, that still you still have to answer. And then time frame, I said by 2027. So whether it's short term or long term goals, they must be smart. Okay. Now the difference between long term and short term goals is that long term goals are very broad, and then short term goals are specific. Short term goals are derived from the long term goals, which means you are breaking down the plan into smaller goals, right? You are breaking down the big goal into smaller goals. For example, that goal to achieve 20% growth in the short term might be on a month-to-month basis. For us to reach that 20%, it means that we must be getting at least per month a growth of maybe 5% here, 5% there, all right, to have a 20% growth at the end of 2027. So, or we must increase our sales by 2% or by 1% each and every week. Now, you are having short-term goals that address or align with the long-term goals. Now, a lot of businesses fail here because there is misalignment of the long-term and short-term goals. Once they misalign, it means that the organization is pulling in different directions. If it is pulling in different directions, then you do not have singularity of purpose, and singularity of purpose will help you drive the vision of the business forward. Okay, so now you've got those goals. Now, from the goals, now you need an implementation strategy. This is where we've got what is called a tactical plan. Recently, I've been helping other entrepreneurs to scale their businesses. We've been doing coaching with them. Now, in our coaching sessions, one of the things that we saw was the reason for their failure to grow was that they did not have tactical plans. Now, tactical plans are taking those short-term goals and then are making them into something that is actionable. All right. I will give you guys also the link to what we are doing in some of our coaching. You can view them for free on my YouTube channel and so forth and so forth. Otherwise, the rest of the things that you need will be there in that YouTube channel. Okay, so feel free to go through there, browse those videos, and leave any messages, comment, and so forth, and then we'll come back to you to answer any specific questions that you have. All right, so now, here they say that in the tactical plans, you've got one, you've got what needs to be done. Two, who must do it. Three, the time frame in which it must be done. And then four, you've got KPIs. KPIs are key performance indicators. Let me go back through that again. What to do means the activity. What activity must be done to achieve the goal? All right. Who to do? Who is responsible for doing that? This makes sure that there is accountability. Accountability or lack of it is the reason why a lot of businesses fail, because no one can account and say, this was supposed to be done by so and so. Or if there's no accountability, it means that we've got overlap of activities. Activities will overlap. People end up doing the same thing, and then there are certain things not done. And then time frame, it must be a time specified for the activity to do that. And then the last one, I say that it must have key performance indicators. What does success in that particular activity looks like? If we have done it right, what is it? How can we measure that this activity was successful? Failure to measure that, you think that you are running well. I'm sure you've heard businesses out of the blue, a business says we're closing. Why? They did not measure performance. They didn't know whether they were still okay or something needed to be done to turn the course of the business into another direction. Now, if you do not have KPIs, you won't know what to evaluate, you won't know what to control. The reason why I'm saying this is that a tactical plan will help you to adapt and to grow. Constantly, a business is almost like a living organism where, because of changes in the marketplace, consumer changes, the consumer tastes change, consumer preferences change, prices change, the competition increases, suppliers and so forth, things change all the time. So what you must be doing is go back to your plan, evaluate, adapt, control, evaluate, control, adapt. So it means that you're doing some iterations over and over, changing the way things are done so that you're positioning yourself quite in a position where you are very comfortable in terms of making the right decisions about the next step. You need to evaluate, which means that for you to evaluate, you need feedback. The market must be giving you feedback. How do you collect feedback? Like I said, also, there is a lot of content that I have on this. Right now, I'm just touching here and here and here. But a lot of businesses are failing because they don't have feedback from the market. You are creating a product, the product that you created is not for you. You created it for a customer. It was for a specific customer. You had a customer in mind. It doesn't matter how beautiful, how nice your product is. If people don't want it, then you're going to fail. Remember, I said about entrepreneurship. You have an idea to satisfy a need. There is a problem that you're solving. If your product or service does not solve a problem, then you made it for you, for yourself. You enjoy looking at your beautiful product. That beautiful product, I'm sorry, it won't make any money for you. It won't do anything for you. Now, once you have created a product, let us say it, a consumer test market, trends, things change. If things are changing, you must have a way of finding out what the change is like. Then this is where you generate feedback. You can use a simple surveys, either open-ended or closed-ended questionnaires. Again, I did a lot of this on my channel. You can find it for free there. There are a lot of ways to get information, and this must be free. Anyone that comes in contact with your product, feel free to ask them questions. It can be an online survey with just 3 questions. What did you like about the product? What did you not like about the product? What do you think we must change about the product? The customer will give you that information for free. All right. Once you've got this information, then you analyze the information, and then you do what the customer wants you to do. Customer is king. That motto is not just a saying. Customer is king because the customer who does not buy your product, then you lose. You want the customer to feel appreciated. If they feel appreciated, then they buy your product. Now, we were saying, I can't let these customers control me. This is my idea. Okay, it's your idea, but it won't give you any profit. If you want to make serious profit, you need to be giving out what the market wants at all times. Okay, we're still in the strategy. Sorry for that sidetrack. We're still in a strategy. In that particular strategy, now you are now breaking the organization into different parts. An organization has got departments. Now, departments, you've got production, marketing, you've got sales, you've got management, and so forth and so forth. In those, now you are breaking still and see exactly what must be done by each of those in order to achieve the main goals. All right. So, which means production, we have production schedules, a production plan, who is producing, what must be produced, when it must be produced. This is the production plan. All right. And then you go to marketing. Marketing will look at a marketing communication plan. It will look at promotion, advertising, and so forth. Now, this is my tip here for marketing. Marketing is one of those things that I love so much, because without a proper marketing strategy, a firm will crash. Doesn't matter what that particular product you're selling is. If you do not have a good marketing plan, you will fail. You will fail. You will fail. Now, these days, marketing has been made cheaper because now you've got social media. All right, a lot of people are going social media and then taking some selfies, some nice photos, and if social media really, if you're using it for that, then you have not really known the use of social media. You can use social media to sell your product: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and so forth. And I can just tell you right now that most of the clients, that paying clients that we got for our coaching, was because they saw the content that we put on LinkedIn, and they said, you know what, can you please train our team, right? And because they saw that there is value in what we are offering, then it means that you can also charge them a premium price, meaning that those kind of customers who come to you like that don't mind paying a high price. You didn't seek for them. You just put organic content, just talking about your business. You say, come, and buy. Usually when you do so, people don't come to buy. Actually, it has the opposite effect. Just talk about your business. Talk about the problems you're solving. There is someone who's got that problem who will come to you, and then you can give them a premium offer and so forth. Again, talking about offers, there are premium offers and how to create a good offer. Again, you can find that on my channel in YouTube. That content is there as well. All right, so you've got these departments: marketing, you've got a production, you've got a management plan with a management structure, an organizational structure, how the organization is going to be organized. And there, the most critical part in those departments or in those functions then is the financial plan. Now, the financial plan you can use if you are putting a business plan and wanting to get maybe a funding or a loan for your business, or to get your business funded by investors. The financial plan is one of those things that they run to. Now, in that financial plan, you are trying to show the viability of your business. Is this business viable or is not viable? By viability, I mean, can it turn a 100 rand into profit, or can it turn whatever amount that we give them into profit? Is it a profitable venture, or this idea will crash? Is it sustainable, or is it just going to be a seasonal business, just make profit now 2-3 months, 1 year, after that it's gone? So profitability and sustainability are key, and they must be reflected in that financial plan. So in our financial plans, usually what we do is we always start with our budget, show a cash flow projections, right? Cash flow projections from 6 to 18 months, show exactly how money will be coming in and how much money will be going out. You are projecting based on the research that you did. The research that you did can give you an idea on if you were to create this product at such a price. Okay, you're anticipating that from the people that you spoke to, so many people have got this problem. So we are anticipating that 100 people will buy at 100 rand per month. So which means that you've got approximately 10,000 that is coming in as income. Okay, what about our expenditure? How much are we spending? All right. Now, on your expenditure, this is where again a lot of people get it wrong. They fail to spell out all the expenses. If there is an expense that is related to business, it could be a phone call, it could be a WhatsApp text. If it is cost at all, it must be reflected in the cost. There is also cost to you, the entrepreneur. How much time are you spending in the business? You must be able to give value for your time. This is how you, as an entrepreneur, gets paid. What is your value in the business in terms of how much time are you spending and how much do you want to be paid for your time? You put that into your costing, and then that cost plus markup will give you the price of your service. Now there we've got income coming in. Income is not yet profit, right? Income is not profit. So profit is your income minus cost will give you profit, or revenue minus cost will give you profit. Now you've got your cash flow projections. Again, you will see these in the document that I said you can download for free, which is your business plan. But if you are interested in seeing some of the business plans that we have built for other businesses, don't be afraid to actually send me a message. I'll give also my email, and then I can send you a copy of some of the business plans that we have done. Just capture the financial projection so that you see how it looks like. Okay, and then once you have done the cash flow projections, then you go on to doing your projected income statements and balance sheet. Now we want to know the performance of the business and the position of the business as it relates to finances. So we want the financial position and the financial performance. Financial performance will be seen in the income statement, and the financial position is what you will find in the balance sheet. And then I know that Mr. Brian Love there is actually one of the best people that you can talk to as far as this is concerned. He's a master in accounting, and I'm sure say that you'll do justice to that particular part. Okay, so as we move on, you've got cash flow projections, projected income statement, projected financial, balance sheet. You see, I'm saying projected because you have not yet made the money. You have not yet gone to market. All right. And then after that, then you have a profit and loss projections for the next 5 years. All right. So usually what we do, we're from our cash flow projections, we project the first year and then factor in inflation and other price increases in there. Our price margins going up year after year, and inflation kicking in, fuel prices going up, and so forth, depending on your research. Then you can project upward so that whatever profit you're making is not going to be eaten by inflation as you move from one year to another. Okay, now having said that, there's still a lot of things that you need to do. Now, from here, then you can go to market. If you're creating a physical product, don't get a big budget and then create it one time. Or don't wait to perfect it. Send to market as it is. You have what is called a minimum viable product, which is an MVP. A minimum viable product is to test the market whether they will buy it. All right? Which means you are still going to improve on that product. Minimum viable product. To put it to market and see how the market responds. And then from there, get feedback, change it, make iterations and so forth. And then continuously change the product. Now, a lot of businesses have failed because they just make a lot of products like this and then try and force feed them into the market. And then the market usually rejects such attempts to force feed it. Okay, now you've got these businesses running. The most important thing now follows. Now you need to have what are called SOPs, standard operating procedures. What does the day look like in your business? What are the processes and systems that you must put in place, so much so that even if you are not there, someone can run the business because they've got, for this we do this. This must be documented. There must be a systemized way. You don't just wake up and say, okay, today we're doing this, tomorrow we're doing that. No, there must be standard operating procedures. If the new clients come, the new clients will record them here. We do this with them. We do that with them. So that anyone who comes into that place to deal with the client knows that this is what we do for the client first, and then this one and that one. So that you've got a seamless flow. Every time you are endeavoring to produce a workflow that is seamless, that is efficient, when you do so, this is where you will now see that the business can begin to run on its own because there are systems. But let me debunk this myth. The biggest myth that is out there is that entrepreneurship is not easy in the beginning, to take a lot of hard work. However, once you put systems and processes in place, the business can begin to run itself to the point whereby you are buying back your time. And when you buy back your time, you can have that time with your family, go on holiday, and spend on other things that are dear to you. Okay, so what is the next thing to do? Now, the next thing to do is I want you to go have this exercise. See if there's a vision. If you're already having an idea, can you make it into a vision? A vision which is, if you're saying 10 years from now, what do you want people to know your business as being? Or what do you want to be remembered for? Now, this becomes part of how you position your business or your brand in the minds of the consumers, that, if I think toothpaste, say Colgate, all right? It means that that brand is positioned high in my mind. Although I know that there's Aquafresh, there's Close Up and what. The brand that comes into my, even if I didn't want it, is Colgate. If I'm thinking a soft drink, go and buy a Coke there when I mean a Fanta, is because that brand is well positioned there. Why? Because of their unique value proposition. So please, my advice to you is start with a vision. Start with a vision, write it down. The word is clear there. Write a vision down. Start a vision and then follow those processes. And I hope that if you were to also read that book there, it will give you ideas. Otherwise, I'm hoping that you enjoyed this presentation. Of course, as I said, it was a blank canvas. I didn't know exactly how specific I should be. It was just in general. My motivation to you is this. There's an entrepreneur in you, and as a child of God, you are called to entrepreneurship. If you have not yet made a decision, make a decision now. I'm not saying just go and quit your job now. What I'm saying to you is that you can still multitask. Adam had the latent capacity as a, a man, a soulish man, because he was not yet born again like you. Adam did not have the capacity that you have, yet he tended the entire garden with 4 rivers. I want you to imagine how huge the Garden of Eden was. So which means that you have got capacity that you do not know of. You've got capacity that you have not yet tapped into. If you were to pray in the Spirit. As you pray in the Spirit, then some of these things will open up to you. And if they open up to you, then you will get to where you're supposed to be. Remember, in Deuteronomy 29:29 says that the secret things belong to the Lord our God, but those things that are revealed belong to us and to our children forever. Right? Now, certain things that belong to you, you have not yet known. Certain things that you're supposed to use in entrepreneurship, you have not known because you have not prayed deep enough. You have not asked God the right questions. Again, in 1 Corinthians 2, from verse 9, it says, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor has entered into the heart of man the things that God has prepared for them that love them. And these things are revealed to us by the Holy Spirit. Now, meditate on such scriptures and ask God to reveal His plan for you, because He said, I know the plans that I have for you. This includes also business plans, by the way. I know the plans that I have for you, plans for good and not for evil, to give you a future and expected end. So you can use prayer as preparation to get that vision from God as far as your business journey and your entrepreneurial journey is concerned. I hope that this will help you in your decision making and in your first steps into entrepreneurship. Men of influence, let's go out there and be influential and push the agenda of God through business. You're supposed to be earning for the kingdom of God, for your families, for your communities, and entrepreneurship is the right kind of tool that you can use. God bless you, brothers, in the name of Jesus. Bye.